Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie, and this is Scotch School.
Scotch School.
Scotch School.
Okay, this is a two-part episode. We're going to leave you with a cliffhanger today, but don't worry. For the first time ever, the Bourbon Van will deliver a second video tomorrow. So aren't you lucky? A Monday-Tuesday combo. Won't that be fun? We got these 4 whiskeys, well, 8 in total, from our friend Bill Becher years ago. We were very new to Scotch whiskey. We still kind of are. But over the years, we feel like we've learned a little bit. Our palates have evolved a little bit. And now we feel like it's time to dig into these. The first 4 look like we think they're going to be somewhat more easy to recognize from a bourbon.
Gentle.
Yeah, from a bourbon drinker's perspective. And then the next 4 look like maybe they're going to get a little further from our comfort zone. So today, we are going to start off by going through these first 4 whiskeys. We'll give our tasting notes. We've got some great notes from Bill.
Yes.
And we're eager to get into this, and we'll do some nosing, some tasting. We'll tell you our favorite, and then stay tuned. Tomorrow, we will come back and finish this thing up and say what we liked the best out of all 8 of these whiskeys. It's a big double flight Scotch School. You've got the paperwork. He gave us photos and a little bit of information about each one of these. So a huge thank you once again to our friend Bill Becher.
Right here in the super good glass, we're starting off with a Highland Glenmorangie single malt Scotch, 18 years. Malted barley is the mash bill. It is aged 18 years and it's 86 proof.
18 years.
And
All right.
the tasting notes or the comments are very delightful, high quality entry into Scotch. So let's see if it's very delightful. That seems like a Julie tasting note.
It smells delightful. 18 years age. That's, wow. I wonder what the price of this one is. Does he say?
That does not appear on this wonderful spreadsheet.
Probably for the best. I'll be completely honest. We've had these in our possession since 2021, I believe. So the prices, I'm sure, have changed dramatically regardless. So take all of these whiskeys with a grain of salt.
Is that how long they've been sitting here? 2021?
It seems like it's been a long time. Yeah. Sorry, Bill, that we didn't get to these sooner. We've actually been to Scotland and back now. So you would think that we know a thing or two about Scotch whiskey.
Right.
Not really.
No. As you'll find out, Scotch School.
This smells delightful, though, and delightful, a great tasting note for it. It's fruity, it's a little oak, a little vanilla, a lot of things that I recognize as a bourbon drinker.
It's sweet, it's effervescent,
Yeah.
it's light.
Lively whiskey.
Yeah.
Want to sip it?
Cheers.
Cheers.
It is a good entryway into Scotch. I'm getting a little like grilled pineapple, some like grilled fruits. That's the main flavor that I got on there. Like not smoky, just grilled. Like it has just a little bit of char on there.
Yeah, I think I got on the nose lulled into sort of tasting this, almost thinking like, oh, this is going to be a little bit bourbon-like. Not at all. It was surprising to me. And some of that sort of proofiness on the back end that I wasn't expecting. What was this, 86?
86.
I didn't expect that to come through and hit me with a little bit of a alcohol note there on the back end of that, but the finish is quite nice. The sweetness, it does coat like crazy. It's reminiscent of honey in so much of a way that I keep thinking, oh, it tastes like honey too. Maybe it does, but it definitely clings to the palate like honey. There's very little not to like there. There is that bitterness on the tail end that I think happens because it's been aged for so long. Scotch is not something you always see in a new cask, so you don't think of that bitterness, but here it's kind of balanced nicely against the sweetness, and it is only fleeting. It's a momentary thing, and then it goes on to the sweetness with the finish. Very nice whiskey.
Yeah, and I'm getting just one more note from on my end. Peaches.
How nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's light. It feels great for springtime, summer. It is delightful.
Great place to start. Thank you, Bill Becher. All right, second glass. What have we got here?
So in the Do Not Disturb glass, we have a Compass Box Spaniard blended malt. It is a malted barley blend, 86 proof, fun, interesting, unique. Those are 3 words that I say on this channel weekly.
Yeah, you say that pretty frequently. It is interesting. The Compass Box brand, I don't know much about them other than we've had a few of them, and we have really enjoyed them. There's one I think called Hedonism. I think that's what it's called. It had so much vanilla that I fell in love with that one right off the bat. I don't think we've had Spaniard yet, though.
We haven't, to my knowledge. This smells richer, almost more decadent, thicker. This one drank a little bit thin, had a sweet effervescence to the nose. This one feels a little bit richer already.
A little more of a butterscotch apple note on this one. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to sip this. Let's do it.
Yeah.
You were right about the cat is just tearing the house apart. There goes the lens cap from the camera, so very cool. You were right about this one not being nearly as bright and lively.
Right.
Much more dark, rich notes. There's a lot to like there. As a bourbon drinker, this one definitely hits my palate.
I mean, all I can say is that it is a richer, thicker taste to this.
Yeah, I actually don't think it coats as well as glass number 1. I think that the 18 years of aging have really done something special in glass 1 in terms of the mouthfeel. But this one has flavors that I recognize right off the bat, and I'm really enjoying. I didn't go back for a second sip yet because I was waiting to see if the finish would change at all. Finish is not lasting as long here, probably because it's not clinging to the palate as much as glass 1 did. But the flavors that you get are immediately recognizable and enjoyable.
I'm getting like a little bit of an apple note on this. Definitely some vanilla is on this. Those flavors are quite different than the first glass that we drank, but it is a richer, almost like deeper flavor on this one.
What did Bill say about this one again?
He said that it is fun, interesting, and unique.
Bill nailed that. That's exactly how I would call this one. I think it's very fun, recognizable from a bourbon drinker standpoint. I really enjoyed that. And glass number 3, what do we got next?
Sure, this is an Islay Scotch. It is Bruichladdie Islay Barley Single Malt. Oh, I gotta give you the rest of the information. Sorry.
Sure, that'd be great.
It is a malted barley mash bill. It is 100 proof and it is aged 6 years. Wonderful non-peated fare from Islay. Delicious.
Okay. It smells like it's going to be delicious. We've had a bottle recently, Bruichladdie Classic Laddie, which we very much enjoyed. This smells similar to that in a lot of ways.
I like the nose on this one. I immediately thought toasted marshmallow.
It's definitely sugary. Yeah, this does smell great. It's so inviting.
A little appley, definitely toasted marshmallow.
That marshmallow note is the thing that stands out here because there are some familiar notes as we go down the line, but that marshmallow, that's really that's a solid call out. That's an interesting note here.
I do feel like there's maybe like a little peach note or something underneath. I'm ready to drink this.
Yeah, apple, peach, that fruit cup with the slurry of sugar on it that I like so much. We got to get those for my upcoming race, by the way. I love those. Hey, let's drink this.
Non-peated.
Yum. This one hits my palate.
We're ramping up a little bit.
A little bit of, something more unique here.
Yeah, this one has a bit of that like ashy taste to it, like smoky taste to it.
It's definitely earthier, even though the nose made us think, oh, marshmallow, this is gonna be super sweet. Not so on the palate. It's definitely earthy. It is a little more complex, I think. 6 years aged on this one.
100 proof.
This is the proof point makes a difference. This is really interesting, and it's really lingering on my breath. There's something sort of seasidey about this one.
Yes. And to me, like that, the black char that you can sometimes get on marshmallows, if you do it right. That's what I'm getting. Like that, like a little bit of a char note on there. That's really prevalent in here for me.
Yeah. I think that this whiskey is really appealing, certainly to my palate, but also I think if you have an experienced palate for any type of whiskey, I think there's a lot to find here and a lot to enjoy.
Yeah, and for me, this is just toasted marshmallow. It really is. Like I can feel myself taking it off the hot poker, eating it, getting those flavors in there. That sweetness that I was feeling on the nose there, it doesn't come across for me. I think you're getting more flavors than I am, and that tends to happen with scotches just across the board between you and me. But I do like this.
Yeah, I think this is fantastic. This is really unique. Did he say this was fun?
He did not.
He should have.
He said it was delicious.
I think it's delicious and fun.
Oh, he also said it was wonderful.
Wonderful?
Wonderful and delicious.
Oh, you nailed that note, Bill. Okay, the cat has sufficiently destroyed the lens cap for the camera, which is very, very cool. We are on our last glass of whiskey. Tell me all about this one.
Sure, this is a Glenfarclas 105. Apologies if I said that wrong. And
105 sounded good to me.
yeah, It is 120 proof. This says it's a Speyside, so the region is Speyside, but the label still says Highland. Speyside was split as a separate region from the Highlands years ago. But we just want to make that caveat just so that we don't get any feedback.
Yeah, no, we'll still get feedback. That's what happens here at the Bourbon Fam. Okay.
So
This is Glenfarclas 105 is one of those whiskeys that we did try in Scotland, I think on his recommendation,
Yeah.
and we loved it. All right, Julie, pass this on to me because it's really small font. This is one of the last family-owned Scotch distilleries, not Diageo or Beam Suntory. George Sherry, our Scotsman friend. We have a friend that is a Scotsman. We should all have a Scotsman friend. That
I
sounds
want
great.
one.
He knows the owner's son, George Grant, who took us on a personal tour. That sounds awesome. Very cool. And my top 5 Scotch whiskeys always have to have on my shelf.
Love it. Now I'm excited.
Yeah, now we're hyped for this. It's 120 proof Glenfarclas. Fun to say, and I suspect fun to drink.
Thanks for reading that for me. I got terrible eyesight.
You're very welcome. I think there's some pear on this.
Butterscotch.
Yeah. And there's a brightness and a richness at the same time.
I already like it.
Yeah. Hey, let's sip it.
Yeah. I hope it's wonderful, delicious, fun, interesting, unique, and what am I missing?
Tasty?
Sure, tasty.
Okay.
I like this one.
Ooh, that's great.
Summer fruits, vanilla,
Brown sugar.
brown sugar. Ooh, it's got like a heat to it that not like a proof heat or any kind of bit, but it's just like a heat that simmers in
Yeah.
your mouth to the roof of your mouth. It has no flavor. It's just like a simmering heat that I think accentuates almost like an oven that's baking all of our goodies in there. It's a peach cobbler.
Wow. This is flavorful. It's delightful. I mean, I almost want to pick a whiskey to compare this to, something that it's reminiscent of that's on our shelf that maybe if you're like, well, what does it taste like? Does it taste like something that you can buy in the States? Well, you can buy this one in the States, but
Right.
something that's American made, it's sort of like the Scotch equivalent of a Baker's 7 to me. It's decadent, it's rich, it coats like crazy. The finish lasts an eternity. It's complex. You can keep going back to it and finding more things in it. And that dark brown sugar note on there is just shy of molasses. It's just really, really decadent brown sugar.
You know when you drink something really hot, like a hot cup of coffee or whatever, and you're like, well, there goes my taste buds for the day. That's how I feel on the roof of my mouth, but in a good way. Like it almost is numb, but only on the roof of my mouth, and I think it's opened up like all the other taste buds in my mouth.
Oh, you got the tingly taste buds going on?
Yeah, I think just like the flavors are like more of a 360, but for some reason I do have a dead zone in my mouth, and I think like the heat is all accentuated in one area, but then like the flavors are really round and balanced. I enjoy this one tremendously.
I feel like this is the most comprehensive Scotch whiskey tasting that anybody's ever seen before after hearing about the dead zone on the top of your mouth.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated.
Professionals.
That proof point, the depth of flavor, the complexity, the way it hits my palate as a bourbon drinker, Glenfarclas 105 has blown me away today. This is great.
I love it. And do you think that's he did that on purpose?
Yeah, I do.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, absolutely.
A
Yeah.
little bit lighter draw here at the beginning, kind of tempt you into it, and then just like pow at the end.
I mean, he's a clever guy, that
Yes.
Bill, you know?
I'm allowed to do a tie for second place.
Yeah, there's no rules on the
Because
bourbon fan. It's Scotch school.
Because I don't know what to do with my second and third places, because I feel like on a day, depending what day it is, I'm gonna want to drink it.
That's fair. All right, we have decisions here. Give me your worst to first, and there's really no losers here.
Yeah.
I enjoyed every single one of these today, but
Awesome.
how they hit your palate,
Sure.
go from fourth to first for me.
So in fourth place for me is the Compass Box Spaniard, and then I'm a little bit torn between my second and third. So at any different day, it could be swapped. But I think I'm gonna go third place here with the Glenmorangie, second place with the Bruichladdie, and then first place with the Glenfarclas.
You know what? I appreciate everything you said there, because that's pretty close to how I'm going as well. As a bourbon drinker, there is an order for me here of the things that I appreciate, but also there's one of these that's standing up and I'm going, okay, that's a really good whiskey. It's put together well. I think it's a high quality whiskey. It just didn't hit my palate. That's glass number 1 over here, the Glenmorangie. I think that that's an excellent whiskey. It's just not something that my palate prefers. So for me, I'm going from the 4th glass to the 1st glass. I think this Glenfarclas 105, I'm with you. I think it's special. I think it's delicious. The richness, the decadence, and maybe it's the proof, I don't know. But that's an outstanding whiskey. And then the Bruichladdie, I really enjoyed. The Compass Box Spaniard, I thought was great. Such an easy drinker. And even though I think that this Glenmorangie on the end is a superior whiskey to at least 1 and maybe 2 of these, it just doesn't hit my palate.
That's fair. I mean, to me, it is pure peaches and cream. It is sugary and delicious, and you have to want to drink that.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, the Bruichladdie here, it won me over.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to go in last place. When I did the A/B testing, I was like, oh, that one's in last place. And then I almost put it in first.
That's the last one that I tasted, and it's like there's ashes in my mouth now.
Yeah.
Very strange. So, yeah, on any day, any one of these could probably come in first, except for that Glenfarclas. I think that that's a really nice, special whiskey that tastes delicious. All right. That's the first 4 whiskeys. You made it this far with us. We're halfway done. Join us tomorrow, Scotch School 2. We will taste some much more oddball, peated, smoky, huge flavors coming tomorrow. We're both a little bit nervous. You're excited.
I am. I feel like Scotch should be kind of smoky and dangerous.
It should definitely be something that weirds us out a little bit, and I think that that's going to be the case. Well, let us know of these 4 if you've had them. Which are your favorites? And from wherever we are
to wherever you are.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, I like the peaches and cream.
It's all good.